What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I hear this a lot. Jim Rickards talks about this a lot, which is like buying gold, silver, cryptos, any of that type of stuff that you might need, food storage, any of that stuff. And people are like, hey, just let me know like right beforehand and like I'll load up. And it's like, it doesn't really work like that, particularly in the metals. Like the metals are weird because the spot price can move up and down and you can come in and out of paper assets, no big deal. They're very liquid. But with the physical part, like in a bad time, like when things hit the fan, people are gonna be rushing to the doors. Like if you've ever been to like say a gun store, like after an election, right? Like after the Obama election or after the Biden election, like the lines are out the door, right? The time to have gone and got what you wanted to get was not then. It was way earlier than that, right? Same with rounds. So silver, copper, they're no different. Food supplies, storage, canning goods, like all of these type of things, garden tools, all these things that might be super useful. Like we might actually view like, oh, those are actually real assets. Like they're not just paper assets that are on my Robinhood phone trading app. Like they're actual real things that are really useful. Diesel fuel, diesel tanks, like equipment, like that type of stuff. Like the time to go get it is not like when things have hit the fan and all the crowds are running out to go get it, right? And particularly with the metals, I hear this a lot from a lot of my family, and I'm just like, guys, like, what are you doing, right? Like the time to start dollar cost averaging it. Oh, where's the price going? Is it going up? Is it going down? It's like, no, dude, it's going to your hand. All right, it doesn't, like the spot price is gonna do this, right? Like what's available is gonna do this. But like we wanna get this stuff in our hand, in our safe for the event that we need it, right? So if we need this stuff, we wanna make sure we have access to this stuff. We don't wanna be fighting the crowd. And so the time to prepare and start allocating some of your funds into copper, into silver, into gold, a little bit of crypto. I still think crypto is going down. I think all these assets, paper price, probably going to see a further dip, in my opinion, right? Until the Fed starts like decreasing interest rates again. I think that it's kind of like the balloon house, like where the bounce house goes on. When you turn that fan off, it just starts to collapse, right? The Fed has turned that fan off and it's still like, right? And at some point in time, it's going to get like to that point where it's like, oh no, like this, and they're going to have to turn that thing back on. I think they might not, right? But obviously cash is important, right? Like the time to go get cash, like is not when the ATM doesn't have any cash. Time to go get cash is like this morning where you're like, you know what? I'm going to put $100. I'm going to put $100. I'm going to put it in the safe. You know, next week I'm going to put another $100. I'm going to put it in the safe, right? You just keep doing that. At the end of the year, you got $5,000 sitting in there, right? So it's like, that's the key to getting prepared for these things. But to assume that you're going to be able to just roll like 10% of your net worth or liquidate your stock trading account, wait for those funds to clear, go into like a dealer broker like us, like at Miles Franklin, and be like, hey Trav, get me $50,000 worth of silver. It's like, dude, it literally might not be available, right? Like last month at our brokerage, we had a billionaire. I don't know who she was, but we had a billionaire who wanted $50 million in metal, all right? To 25,000, thousands, no. Obviously the deals I've been doing have been in the thousands, right? 25 million in US gold, like US minted gold, 25 million in US minted silver, okay? Just to fill that order, like not easy. All right, it wasn't easy. I heard Andy talk about it on a couple other channels of what it took to fill that thing. And I was like, wow, that's like, it took some weeks. And also the bank held her check. And so she got really upset about it because they held her check or her wire for 4 days, I believe it was. And then like, it was a mess. She had to liquidate her assets and then she had to move them from this bank to that and whatever it was. And she was just like, wow, this system is really starting to crumble. And it's like, yeah, I guess. Like no doubt, like, and so if you think in like the very like end time, like when we get closer to this whatever event, whatever it may be a CW, it may be like a hot war with China, it may just be like chaos at the grocery store, like it may be a grid down because of cyber attack. It could be any of these things, right? But the time to I gotta get 10% of my assets, like I've been told my whole life, I gotta get my assets into the gold and silver. It's not gonna happen, right? Because there's only so much of it. I mean, $50 million cleans an inventory out like that. Like, I mean, literally that minute. I mean, it cleans out. No one's carrying more than that in inventory. I mean, even off the COMEX, it's difficult. Like when I'm doing COMEX orders and we're pulling it off the COMEX, like it takes a few weeks for them to stack these pallets. I don't get an email for like 2-3 weeks, and I'm like, man, the Comex is like, come on guys, let's get this metal on a pallet, let's get it on a truck, let's get it out of here. And it's just like, that's just not a thing. So the time to do this, the time to start making actionable steps is right now. Why the premiums are reasonable, why the spot price is super reasonable, and why the wait times are 2-3 weeks. The time to go meet a local guy, a local coin dealer, right? The time to go meet a local homestead guy that provides eggs or tomatoes or whatever it may be. The time to go do that is right now. It's not in 6 months. It's now. You want to start building these relationships. You want to walk into a store. You want to be known by name. Like you want these relationships. You want this community. You want to be able to build like connections with other people that are like-minded. The time to start doing stuff with those guys, to start training with those guys. I got guys I go out and we do tactical work, right? And it's like, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to go out on a Saturday and like, go get training and stuff like that. But like the time to start doing that stuff is not when you need to do it. Like the time to start doing that is now. The time to start building your connections is now. The time to start building, who do I trust? What type of relationships do we have together? How consistent has this guy been for the last 3 years I've known him, right? Like you don't want to start finding that stuff out like when you get into an actual thing, right? I got a very small list of people that I'm like, I can totally rely on these people. Everybody else is just kind of in that pleb life where they're just like, well, man, if things hit the fan, I'll come to your house. And it's like, that's not a good strategy, my man. Like that's not really, you're not going to be welcome, dude, because you're not bringing anything to the table. You want to be able to bring something to the party and be welcomed into that party. So until the next video, guys, I'll see you down below in the comments. Please give these videos a like. And thank you so much for all of you that are subscribed. If this is your first time on the channel, consider subscribing, putting 2 videos out a day, and I'll see you on the next one.